Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I guess you would call this a breaking news edition of the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Johnny Bottles, and to my left is Dr. Don Wayne, the neckbeard psychologist from Twitter.
What a day,
Don?
Johnny Bottles. What a day. What a day.
Don, I like to start the show off with the big story of the day, the story that everyone's talking about. Kevin Patrick is no longer the lead announcer for SmackDown. I just want to get that off my chest and say that Kevin Patrick was a great guy. He's a good fella. He wasn't cut out for it. He's better. He's better cut out for DoorDash, Grubhub, maybe announcing what's going to be on the lunch menu at the high school nearby.
Maybe Macy's.
He could be the voice of Lucky from the Lucky Charms cereal commercial, or he could just go back to being a backstage interviewer. So this means AEW safe from Warner Brothers Discovery.
I'm going to get into that. I don't know what makes them.
We're going to get into that.
I'm going to get into that. So let's go ahead and get off our chest. We have been told Johnny Bottles has been through the ringer today. He's got some complications in his home. He has to do this outside. But I said, Johnny, we got to do this show because we've been standing here saying this. We thought we had an inside source. We were told for weeks on end. We've asked about it for weeks on end.
That's true.
Warner Brothers Discovery was going to get it. This was going to happen. This was going to be the thing. And then news broke today. All hell has broken loose. All of it. Gone to hell. Warner Brothers was out. Netflix was in. And they got the bag at the same time. So we weren't telling you any lies. This is what we were being told. It is what it is. I'm going to own this. Don't trust people ever.
Well, in the world of entertainment, legalities and contracts and media rights, things like that, everything happens 24/7. They don't go to sleep or anything. While you're laying in bed, they're calculating this, that, and the other, and what percentage of profit they're going to make off of how long they're going to stream. There's a lot of moving parts of this whole deal. And the biggest thing was where's all their streaming content going to go when the Peacock deal's up? So basically what they did here is they killed two birds with one stone. They got the streaming rights to Netflix, and they're going to stream Monday Night Raw.
And I see here Travis is saying our source was full of it. I don't know that he was. The guy didn't hide from us today when we asked him about it. He went to his source and asked the source about it. She said she's inside Warner Brothers. She said they thought they had it coming. They thought they had a deal in place. They found out 2 weeks ago somebody else was moving it on. It was a deal that they've been working on for months or several parties. That's all I can tell you. Now, if he was
Nick Khan was on McAfee's show. He was on McAfee's show today. And he talked about how they were talking to a whole bunch of people all at the same time. All simultaneously over the last couple of months, they were talking to many, many companies. What's that say? They're like, in there, I wouldn't be surprised.
And you talked about TNA Impact, and we want to talk about that as well, because that was something we read today. So,
yes.
Here it is. I don't know that the guy was full of shit. You know, I tend to believe that he was talking to somebody that had inside talks with him. I also believe that this person might have led him astray and how deep into the talks they were or how connected she was. But when you get $500 million a year for 5 years with a 5-year add-on on the back end, that's hard to turn down. And
double what Warner Brothers Discovery was offering them.
Allegedly.
This is all alleged now. So
I just know if I
back 500 million.
Yeah. If
500 million a year.
If the guy was lying to us, to be quite honest, he wouldn't have returned our calls today and been like, I got you, bitch. And he wasn't. He was like, hey man, this is what I was told, this is what happened. However, we did say when this whole thing started, we thought that the announcement would be this week. We thought if there was a new TV deal that was going to get done, it would be the week of the Royal Rumble. We said that from day one. We were told January 10th. I said, well, that's what he said. I think it's going to be on the week of the Royal Rumble. So here we are. The deal's been announced. It's a big deal. Travis is chiming in. He heard that TNA might be going to a big network too. Bottles, what did you hear today? Because you picked up on that story.
On Busted Open Radio, Santino Marella, who is the on-air authority figure for TNA Impact, or whatever it's calling itself nowadays, I'm not sure. But at any rate, they said that they're currently negotiating with a major TV network. And I would assume major being a higher level network than Axis. Access has been bumped off many cable systems and many satellite systems. It's hard to get. And that's one reason why they explored the possibility of TNA Plus, a streaming service fronted by Endeavor, which is the company that owns the WWE.
And something else major happened today with The Rock being announced moments before this all came out as being now part of one of the directors on the chair for TKO Sports. Like that's a big deal, man. Like I don't think anybody understands how big of a deal that is. You don't just become a director and just sit there every now and then. If you've ever worked for a director, that's a big deal, dude.
If that happens,
it's already happened.
Well, it did happen. It already happened. With that happening, what I'm thinking is, can the UFC be far behind Netflix? Can the XFL, which The Rock owns, be far behind coming to Netflix? I think all these things, when the current rights contracts are up, they're all going to come together on that streaming platform of Netflix.
And Chris and a couple other guys have mentioned this before. The WWE now has their finger in all three things: cable TV, streaming service, and local network TV.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
So I am shocked at what's happening right now in the wrestling world. I've never been this shocked with all this stuff that's going on. Streaming, I mean, it seems like the WWE was like, hey, look, the Raw is our flagship station. Mm-hmm. Let's do this. Colin says he's not sure if you guys saw it out this morning, but The Rock confirmed he's going to wrestle at Mania against.
He didn't say which Mania. He said it belongs on a WrestleMania. That's what he said.
Oh,
but he didn't say which
on
one.
A WrestleMania. Okay, it belongs on.
He didn't say which one.
So he's making his pitch for the deal right now.
Of course.
Also, Raw will be free, ad-free for Netflix subs that pay for it. Okay, I mean, hey, I'm excited about this. Again, we were told it was going to be on Warner Brothers Discovery. It didn't. It fell through. This happened fast. We said the week of the Royal Rumble is when you can look for seeing it. It also does not free Tony Khan to be back on AEW. It doesn't say that. That's not what that means. And you and I both talked to each other last week when Warner Brothers Discovery dropped that letter out that said, hey, we're really proud of the work AEW has done. And you had an interesting take about that today. And you sort of made me go, damn, Bottles, that actually makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
That was a FU to the WWE for Warner Brothers Discovery because they went with Netflix. And they thought they had a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. And that was their way of getting a little shot at the WWE and praising AEW, which they actually, from what we understand, are not happy with whatsoever.
Yeah, that's
all speculation and conjecture.
Curtis says, hey, wait a minute, man. WWE has three fingers in something? Wait a minute. XFL USL joining.
How's it go?
I saw that.
How's it go? Two
of the, yeah, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's the big question right now is where does everybody go from here? Because the biggest domino has fallen. It's there. And the other part about this that nobody's talking about that I've seen very little of is WWE said their PLEs are going to be on Netflix next year. Their PLEs are going to be there. Meanwhile, NBC is getting specials from the WWE to put on their NBC television network, their actual broadcast television. And they'll also still have SmackDown on USA. They keep hammering on this over and over again, Bottles, and I'm not sure if you see this or not. They keep going on and on about, well, we're not guaranteeing that it's going to be on Monday night. We're not guaranteeing it's going to be on Friday night. I don't know why they keep trying to throw this out there.
Like Nick Khan said today on McAfee's show, he said they've got 10 months before this actually is a physical thing. So a lot of parts in play. They might be Tuesday Night Raw. They could be probably not Tuesday Night Raw because that would interfere with NXT on the CW.
Exactly. I almost feel like this has to stay Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. It's got an audience. It's got a brand that you built. Is Peacock going to still be on the WWE Network? Peacock and WWE Network are still together through next year, from what I understand. That contract TV deal is not up until 2026, I believe. But the rumor going around is that Netflix wants to bring it over with them. That's what I keep reading over and over again today. So, that's what I
now look. Reading. They said a 10. They said keep in mind they said a 10-year deal, but they didn't say when different parts of that deal start. They can have Raw starting in 2025.
No, they said the PLEs would be next year. They said the PLEs start next year. I read that today. I can send you the link.
They did say that. They did say that. Maybe that's one a separate thing in Peacock. It's two separate addendums. I don't know.
Yeah, so the network is different from the PLEs. Apparently, is how they're selling this. That's a good one right there. They're saying that this is good. This is a separate deal. And yes, Chris, Netflix deal doesn't go into effect until January 2025. I cannot imagine that they're going to keep the Raw brand off TV for that long. I wonder if they're going to get some sort of a deal worked out with, I don't know, USA Network to continue to carry the banner.
I'm
for the
sure
next
they're going to have
months.
a lame duck. They'll have a lame duck deal for 3 months with USA Network because you're still in business with them with SmackDown.
And you're still making a lot of money.
I'm sure. Right. I'm sure USA would love to have Raw have a little mini contract extension for 3 months until January 1st of 2025.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys. Imagine if WWE moves NXT to Saturdays on CW. Lord have mercy. And that AEW show is already doing bad enough. That'd probably be the death deal on that thing.
Dude.
It's been and
Meltzer is even worried about AEW today. I've seen that.
Yes. Colin's even yes, I did. I want to talk about that a little bit. Well, we'll save that for Thursday. We'll talk about that Thursday.
Okay.
I want to talk about that Thursday.
Ad-free Raw, it might be what makes them cut back to 2 hours. 3 hours of TV, no breaks to be held.
We've been talking about this a lot. We want Raw back to 2 hours. It makes it a much easier show, a much more enjoyable show to watch. It makes it a lot more fun for the fans to watch as well, especially the live attendance fans. If anybody's ever gone to one of these latest Raw or SmackDown shows, it is a never-ending commercial break that will just take you completely out of the show. That's part of the live brand in wrestling that I really feel like is just awful right now. It takes you completely out of that element.
You're right. You're absolutely right. If you took a 3-hour Raw and got rid of all the commercials, what would it be? 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours long?
I think it'd be like 2 hours long.
Probably 2 hours long. So they'll probably do a 2-hour show.
Spready Roosevelt said he wants a 4-hour Raw. I do not want that.
A 4-hour Raw?
Oh, no, I'm going to pass on that.
Good Lord. Yeah, sponsored by Folgers Coffee.
Yeah, no shit.
Keep you awake.
Let me see here. Nick Khan, he said, saying SmackDown would be moving to Tuesday. I did not see that today. If you got a link you can send me, I'd appreciate it because I've been looking all day for that.
I didn't see it at all.
I haven't seen that at all.
I just saw him on the McAfee show. He didn't say anything about SmackDown moving to Tuesday.
So that'll be interesting to see what happens. Anyway, I don't want to get too bogged down on who's moving where. The biggest news today is what's happening.
You know what the biggest news today is? I'll tell you exactly what the biggest news today is. Someone passed away, and I like to bring that up in the world of professional wrestling. Vince McMahon's mustache has passed away. He shaved it off.
Did he really?
Yes, he did. He shaved his mustache off.
Why would you? Where did you see this at?
Cultaholic, pal. They're never wrong. Cultaholic said those drunken Brits over at Cultaholic said Vince McMahon has shaved off his mustache.
Oh shit! Alexander Art said,
Beer Man broke that news. Beer Man broke that news on.
Was that what he was upset
about? If you follow
earlier?
Cleany Towels on Twitter, you'll see that the great Beer Man broke the Ice Train story.
The big news.
Hang on, Don. I got to let a dog in.
Okay, that's
fine. Go ahead, vamp, Don. I'll be right back. I'm here. I can hear you.
The big news that did happen, like you said earlier, was Kevin Patrick got moved today. He's off the show. I'm a little shocked that they let Patrick go like that, just unceremoniously. He's got to go, just gone.
Right.
I was kind of shocked at that.
They made that decision last night, supposedly.
So those were the two big headlines. Again, I just want to come out here and talk to the sports.
Well, hang on a minute.
Nations about this for a minute. Go ahead.
Hang on a minute, Don. Who takes over? SmackDown.
I don't have a clue. I really don't know. I really don't know.
I'll tell you I'll tell you what they should do. They should bring Vic Joseph up and put him on SmackDown, NXT to SmackDown, and then put Byron Saxton as the play-by-play guy for NXT.
I can't argue with you because the little bit I've seen of them, I like it. It's not bad. They're good.
Vic Joseph is great. He was a voice of Raw for one point in time, but what?
we've been through the ringer today, buddy. We've been through the ringer. Lots of questions coming out as Fast and Furious. Did they say Raw would still be live? They haven't said it yet. They haven't announced if it's live. They haven't announced any of that. It's just, here's where we are. Here's where we are.
I get the impression from listening to Khan talk today and the two interviews I've seen that Raw will indeed be live. However, you can stream it whenever you want to, of course. But it will be live on Netflix.
I kept hearing that as well.
But it will be there.
Raw show live. And then after it's over with, you can watch, if you pay for the service, a commercial-free version of it.
Yes.
Because from what I read, Netflix is very much wanting to get into the live broadcast department of sports and other entities. So this is their first major step.
But you have to be a subscriber to see. Yes, you have to be a subscriber to see.
So, no, I don't see Raw going back to being taped. Not ever.
No. 275 million subscribers.
I know.
In the Netflix wheelhouse.
I think Amazon is the next closest, and they've only got like 87 million or something like that.
Bezos,
something at a much smaller rate. I'm excited to see this. $500 million, Johnny. $500 million. So what does this leave now?
$500 million, pal. $500 million, pal.
I want to shoot the shit on this.
I'm here drinking Walmart beer and a median strip somewhere.
The hobo killer will
$500 million
right now.
Who?
What? The hobo killer. He would be proud of you right now.
I'm channeling Beer Man right now. Beer Man's out there watching. I'm channeling you, pal. Go ahead.
Where does AEW go from here? Because now that leaves. Because here's the other part of this that nobody's talking about. TNT changed their name. Warner Brothers Discovery changed their name from whatever it was, Warner Brothers Sports, to now all sports content through Warner Brothers Discovery is actually being called TNT Sports. That's the network that's going to show it all.
The network up fronts for cable TV and broadcast television are in May.
Yes, that's when they announced.
That's when they have a big convention, and they go to all the advertisers and they talk about how great their new TV shows are going to be. Okay? All I can say is if they don't have a contract signed by April, AEW that is, with Warner Brothers Discovery, then they're out the door. They're off of Warner Brothers Discovery. And everyone says, oh, they signed. They got a big contract, $1 billion contract. If they signed $1 billion contract, I'll put it to you this way. Tony Khan is on Twitter bitching about whether or not someone looked at him sideways backstage at AEW. He was in fear for his life, or if someone put a meme up about him and Triple H, or whatever, any little nuance of social media, Tony Khan bitches about it. So if he had a deal like that, a multi-billion-dollar deal to stream those shitty programs, and they are shitty programs, and no stars except for two, then he would be crowing it from the highest rooftops, screaming, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. All their bot accounts that they have out there on Twitter and Facebook will be crowing about it. And I'm not convinced that the real one, WWE real one on Twitter, is not Tony Khan.
He's not Tony Khan. I can assure
you. Sure?
That. Yes, I am.
Daniel Garcia?
100%.
Is he the fathead guy? Daddy Magic? Daddy Fathead?
He might be. It's just one of those deals where when I'm looking at this happening, they made their big announcement. It's going to be in May, where they're going to announce all of their fall and spring lineups for next year for the TNT Sports, for the TBS programming. There's still no contract with them, and like Colin said right here, TNT is going to have their hands full keeping the NBA contract. We've talked about that. We've talked about that quite a bit. That they still want to keep the NBA on TNT. They've already signed the streaming service deal exclusively with Warner Brothers, now TNT Sports, to come through the Max channel. So they've already got part of that. They want to keep the NBA TNT name brand going. They've added soccer. They want to keep this going. You know what I mean? Like this is what they want TNT to be now.
Don,
how old is what?
How long has AEW been in existence?
5 years.
Okay.
5 or 6.
They would have drawn up a contract. 5 years. They would have drawn up a contract for streaming if they wanted that on their streaming platform. They would have said, hey, you guys are doing great. The rates are fantastic. Let's draw up a side contract for streaming. So it will be an addendum to your current contract. They would have done that. They haven't done that.
So yes, they debuted in 2019, so this is year 5 for AEW.
Okay.
So yeah,
very good, very good.
It's it's a lot going on right now in wrestling between what happened last night on Raw, the news smashing the internet today, The Rock smashing the internet today. All of this is getting crazy right now, man.
Raw for me was, I didn't see the end of Raw. I can't speak on that. But I found Raw to be very uneventful. In fact, the Imperium New Day match actually put me to sleep.
Okay, I can see that.
It's the same old bullshit. It's the same old bullshit with the New Day. Look, dude. Turn the New Day heel, split them up, pair them up with other people in another faction, have Xavier Woods join the Judgment Day, or whatever. Do whatever. You can't convince Kofi Kingston to me is Orange Cassidy to you.
I'm not a big fan of him.
Do you see what I'm saying?
But he is not that damn. What's that? He's not that offensive to me.
What, Kofi Kingston?
Yeah.
He's not that offensive to you.
No, he's not. Not nearly.
He's got a Chris Jericho chest. He's got a Chris Jericho chest. He's about the same size as Orange Cassidy, and he kicked out of a moonsault that Ivar did to him.
I watched it.
I just, after that, I actually, oh my God, I love Big E. I love Woods. I don't like Kofi Kingston. Woods and Kingston together are not the New Day. The New Day is the three of them. They need the enforcer. They need a big guy.
It's 4 years too late to get them over.
Even if he's just a manager.
It's time.
It's over. You got to split them up.
Yeah.
Turn them heel, get rid of them, cut them loose, do whatever you got to do.
Alex wants to know if I'd be surprised if TNA Impact was to get TBS. I really wouldn't. Like, that's sort of right now. Tony Khan is looking to get more than $200 million a year. I think that might be a fallback plan. Like, hey, let's get some professional people that are in the wrestling business back on television, because they could get Impact or TNA a hell of a lot cheaper than that. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Is that confirmed?
What is confirmed?
AEW just signed a streaming deal with DoorDash. You can open the DoorDash app and you can see AEW.
You're killing me right now.
On their streaming service, DoorDash. Because 3/4 of their roster look like DoorDash drivers. I'm just saying.
And yes, the New Day does need a new branding. It's time to make them heels. It's just been too long now.
I think Matt Menard dropped off a dinner box from KFC to me the other day.
You're killing me right now.
I'm not sure.
Gil says that the TNA show is better than the AEW show, but nobody has interest in watching it because it's too much trouble to watch the show. You got to make it convenient for your audience.
And there's no big names to draw you into TNA. There's no Hogan.
There's not.
There's no Reigns type character there. No one to draw you in.
So you were talking about Raw. You were talking about Raw last night, so I want to give you a couple of my tidbits on this thing. It started off white hot. Seth Rollins coming to the ring, and one of your favorite wrestlers came out to confront him.
You're damn right. You're damn right. One of the best wrestlers they have. You didn't like
this?
Gunther. What?
You didn't like this. You didn't like this part of it.
That was fantastic, pal. That was fantastic. But you put the New Day versus Imperium on my TV, and I'm going night. The New Day is just a snoozerama for me. They're like taking an Ambien. They're just boring.
Okay, I hear you, but here's my question: Gunther with Rollins in the ring, that didn't excite you some? Because here's my issue, and I want to talk about this tonight since we got a few minutes here. It bothers me that Seth Rollins is going to try to rehab a torn knee like that for 2 months before he has a match at WrestleMania. That doesn't seem logical to me. Having my wife just had surgery for having something similar, it does not seem like a logical logical issue for me to do that. Mike Digital says there's breaking news. AEW just signed with GE. They'll exclusively be on your smart refrigerator screens.
Yeah, so when you're going for that bowl of cream corn to heat up, there's Nyla Rose on your refrigerator screen.
Oh dear God! So
it's fantastic.
What do you think of Seth Rollins keeping this title going into WrestleMania and being hurt?
I think they're taking a big chance.
It's a big chance, right? Like that's
he's
a
trying
lot.
to rehab. He's going to try to rehab that injury. All I can say is, look at it this way, in this perspective. Victoria, when she was in the WWE, tore her MCL, or was it her ACL? One of those two ligaments she tore, and she put a huge ass black brace from the middle of her thigh down to the middle of her calf. And she wrestled with that brace with a torn ligament in her knee for her entire career. Even going when she went over to Impact and became Tara in TNA, she still wrestled, and she never got it fixed to this day. That's all I can say.
Was she ever the same, though, either?
What's that?
Was she the same? Seth Rollins is a flyer. He's going to come off that rope, dude.
She was the same. She was, you might say she was even better. She debuted as one of the Godfather's hoes. And she said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to train hard. I'm going to make it a stab at this. And she was exemplary. She was fantastic. What's that for?
He says
a grade 2 MCL tear takes 4 to 6 weeks to recover without surgery.
They said it was a total tear, though, and it would take 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, Chris, with a total tear, what would that be? I mean, could you actually? You can't work the same style as the Seth Rollins flying around the ring.
And that's his style.
But Victoria never worked that style. Victoria was a bruiser.
Oh, I know. She was a big girl. I don't like the idea of him holding on to this title right now. Shit, dude. I thought we booked a better show than they had on Monday night, to be quite frank. I thought they should have come out.
Damian Priest coming in.
They should have had Gunther out there talking his shit, and out comes Damian Priest, whacks him in the damn knee with the freaking case, throws it over to the ref, 1, 2, 3. And Gunther's like, me and you, WrestleMania, pal. That's just, I don't know, man. That's just what I saw last night. I thought they could have gone in a lot of different directions. I'm not really sure that I like this direction. You know what else this tells me? They better do something with Roman Reigns now at this next PLE besides the Royal Rumble, because you can't go into Australia with none of your major champions on the damn headline. You can't do it.
Well, they're counting on the Grayson Waller, Rhea Ripley. What are they? The only 2 Australians they have, I believe, right?
It's not a lot. I'm just saying, like, you got to give me something else.
Rhea Ripley's a big star there for Australia. For Perth.
You've got to give me more than what you're showing me right now. You better have their champions. You've got to have the champions out there.
Optimally, it would have been The Rock versus Reigns. Why they haven't done that match, I don't know. I don't know why he was on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago or Raw a couple of weeks ago teasing that. I have no idea why, but it makes no sense to me to actually dangle that carrot in front of everybody and then pull it back.
It really pisses me off.
That's something Vince would do.
It feels like a Vince move, doesn't it? Like they stepped back in time and did that horse shit, man.
Right.
Here's a tease. Okay, cool. Put it on in Australia. I'll get up early and watch the show. It doesn't make any sense to me, man.
I got a big truck coming by. I might have to move out of the meeting strip. I'm okay.
Yes, they let Cody wrestle with the pec muscle off the bone, but that damage was done and he couldn't hurt it any worse. He can actually hurt his knee worse like this. It can actually get worse. He could tear his ACL next. It can get worse. And by the way, part of that whole gimmick with what was going on with Cody Rhodes, that was part of the damn story when that happened. That was part of the story. Everybody knew it was torn, and when he took it off and you saw that blood and that bruise come across, it just added, it was an added bonus effect. Just my opinion. I also like the Cody Rhodes CM Punk angle. I thought that was fun. I thought that was a fun angle. Did you not like that segment?
That was an electric moment. It really was. I watched that this morning.
I watched it again this morning. I watched it live. The crowd was dead silent, just waiting to see what everybody was going to be said in this. At first, I was like, "Are they quiet because they're bored?" And I was like, "No, they're just waiting to hear what the hell they're going to say." They were very into it.
Cinema, Don. It was cinema, Don, as the kids say on Twitter. It was cinema.
It was, and it was great. And I thought there was some great lines in it. I thought CM Punk's line of, we're not going to be friends Saturday. We could be Sunday. Are you not going to be able to separate business from personal? Like, that was a good line, I thought. And then the other line I thought was better was from Cody when he said, "I am more CM Punk than you are." I was like, whoa, that was pretty good.
That was good.
That was a good fire back.
If you think about this, a few years back, they had both of those guys at the company, I believe at the same time for a brief moment, and they never interacted whatsoever. A complete fumble on somebody's part. I'm not going to mention that guy's name because he's like Beetlejuice. If I mention his name 3 times, he's going to pop up. And I'm just going to be upset at the thought of this guy. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Tony Khan.
Now I
Tony Khan.
Good evening, Humble. It's not going to be a long show tonight. We wanted to cover what had happened today. Let everybody know about our source.
Because I'm out here in the median strip.
I mean, he's out there playing the traffic, folks. He's a dangerous man right now. He's got dogs trying to get in. He's got cats trying to crawl in his yard. He's got cold beer he's got to get down. It's a hell of an evening.
And I'm drinking Bud Light of all goddamn things I'm drinking.
That's where we are right now with the show. That's where we are. So we are going to do the show Thursday at our normal time, correct, Model? 7 o'clock. Tune in. We're going to cover all the things we didn't cover tonight. We just want to come out and cover this real quick tonight. Oh, we're doing Thursday.
Oh, yeah, we are. Okay.
Because there's a lot to get to. Yes, I know people are asking about Okada. I've seen this. I can't wait to talk about this because this is one of the more curious storylines coming into this weekend. We got to talk about the Royal Rumble, which is going to be this Saturday. It feels great to say this.
Oh, well, we talked about this on the phone earlier. Okada, what's that say? Seth and Cody sold the Rumble match in one segment. Yes.
Yes, they did. And I want to talk about Okada Thursday. I want to talk about it Thursday. I want to say
it right now.
Why? We got a Thursday show. Come on, pal.
Well, we're on the air right now.
It's called a teaser. You got to tease it.
I'm sure everybody in that chat room say, Jesus Christ, what time is it? I gotta make sure I'm there at 7 o'clock on Thursday. I gotta hear this Okada news. Who?
Well, maybe, but I'm curious because I started reading some of it today and I didn't get to finish the article, and I really want to read about this.
Nobody in the United States, not many people in the United States, unless you have Cheetos on your fingers and you're in your underwear in your mother's basement, know who Kazuchika or whatever his name is, Okada is. No one knows.
See? Marlon's fan said he's heard he's going to NXT. See, I read a bunch of different articles today about
I heard the same thing. I heard the same thing.
I've got to read about this guy. I don't know a whole lot of Japanese wrestling. I'm not going to pretend I do. I do know that name, and I've heard that name several times, and I've heard he's a big get for whoever gets him. I hear he's pretty good.
The only Japanese wrestling that I'm familiar with is when I try to skip that out the bill at the Blue Moon Sushi House, and the guy tackled me to the ground. That's the only Japanese wrestling I've ever heard.
Oh, dear God. Dear God. So we will be back Thursday. I think that's a pretty good coverage for the breaking news we had today. It was disappointing. I know it was hard to handle considering the information we've been getting, that we've been fed. It was very heartbreaking. Don't trust anybody, kids. That's what the moral of the story is today.
Well, the guy that we got the info from, he was who he said he was.
Yes.
He worked for the company that he said he worked for. He was an employee there. And he handled media advertising, and he knew someone who worked side by side with David Zaslav as a what do they call them? Not a secretary. What do they call them? An admin. Nowadays, intern.
Admin.
Whatever. That's who we got the info from. And in the fast-paced world of entertainment media, things could change on a dime. So, and
it happened. We tried.
Oh, have you heard? Jim Ross has not signed his AEW contract.
Yes,
it's up in another month.
I know. We talked about that last week.
Contract.
We talked about it last week.
Could Jim Ross make a comeback and be the voice of SmackDown?
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Not even not for all the Grey Goose in the world.
Not a chance.
Not for all the vodka in Russia.
Not gonna happen. All right, Bottles, I will let you get to your family. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate the support.
You know what? There's one son of a bitch who did. One son of a bitch didn't subscribe, and he said he never will.
He's going
to be Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.